The process of taking people out of the valley was also a kind of ritual, a way of bridging one life to another. They know the world they're leaving. The next one hasn't been created yet. A green space. I feel memory in the air like pollen. It reminds me of a poem my dad was never able to finish. The first line was, "If you want to awaken the dead, just whisper." The Greyhands are the future in all its uncertainty, the good and the bad, the hope and fear of progress. The loneliness of this season will be left behind. A collective project is coming. The elder warned me about valleys. She said they were dangerous. I feel a dulcet tension in the air. I enter to see the moment between seasons. Time seems to pass differently around here. I feel so heavy and so light at the same time. I'm not really alone. I'm with myself. I'm with the earth. I feel nourished in these sights by the unfamiliarity of it all. These means of connection, long in disuse, are certainly telling me something about the world. Will they be used again in the next season? Dr. Fumio was an important person, but we also just have a need to put a human face on events that are beyond our control. He may have felt just as scared and helpless as everyone else. The work at the dig site has something to do with Day Zero. This is the kind of brain trouble my mom warned me about. There's a big tree with a researcher's notebook inside it somewhere. They look relieved to have finished their work. Memories and emotions condensed into a mineral. I wonder what this channel is for. They must have already shipped out all the Harpic they need. I wonder what's on this reel. What is Day Zero? Maybe I can find out more about it. They dug up all that Harpic in order to conduct some sort of prayer on Day Zero.
I've recreated the same setup as the prayer statues right here in my workshop. I set up a singing bowl so I can verify the pattern that will form in the water. And some Harpic, of course. Each god seems to correspond to a resonating frequency. And when this vibration acts on the Harpic, we get the psychoactive response. Going to give it a try here.
I remember watching my dad make shadow puppets on the wall. Felt strange because I could see how it was done. I could see the trick of it, but it still felt kind of magical.
It worked. I do feel the more I do this, the more tired and it feels like it takes me longer to return to the present. But now I have some control. I face the question of how this mineral affects the soil. I still have a lot of work to do. That's all for today.
A mineral that can affect the mind. The memories of the owner now turned into a beautiful mineral.
The necessity of day zero is not just psychological, it's ecological. Because there is a compounding effect to these minerals and their psychological effect. And we see this in Tiang Valley. There is a memory and a memory of a memory and a memory of a memory of a memory. This echo effect, this recursive nature is the problem. As this cycles through the ecosystem, it creates points of pressure where things bleed, and soil and human minds are contaminated. Some will say, what's a few daytime visions? But it is an increasing risk, an increasing danger. Left alone, the haunted quality of this season will only get worse. The necessity of day zero is also to this particular action will neutralize this phenomenon at its source. This is not an endless cycle. We are putting an end to this psychoactive material, and we are opening up space for something new.
How do they plan to remove the haunted quality of this season?
The necessity of day zero is not just psychological.
The Greyhands present one side to the public, and another is hidden behind metal fences. There is no one to oppose them. There is only my record of what they did here. what we do to the land eventually makes its way into our blood and our brains. This can define a season. The info sign earlier said they are dangerous in large numbers. I have a pendant though. I'm sure these critters will escape the valley before the flood. This field was absolutely full of memories. I'm glad I had my pendant, otherwise it would have been overwhelming. Has the power of this god decayed like the statue? Or is it as strong as ever? These slips are prayers to this god for forgetting things. Void. I pray to the god of forgetting. I pray to the void to take a memory from me. There was a moment of hesitation between my pendant and the god. Did I really want this? If I did, my pendant would allow it. It happened just as my mom described. There was a moment as the memory left, when I felt the absence, but then it filled itself in. I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but after that moment in front of the statue, I no longer remember my own name. Void took it from me. I tried to remember someone saying my name. I looked through my journal and realized I never wrote it down. So it's really gone. Our minds are so delicate. I held my pendant tightly after that. The year of the din? Was that how they recorded years in the olden days? This is a season when memories echo on and on and on and on. Will the echoes fade away, or will they be cut off abruptly? What am I without a name? Can I decide now? Did forgetting part of me make me more free? The Greyhands have a lot of this stuff now, for better or for worse. The bird stole a small trinket. I left the bird its prize, but maybe I can learn more about the locket. I feel the slow chaos of life in its branches. A tree dies on the same spot it was born. The tree looks healthy. The ritual must have worked. He seems to have been obsessed with figuring this out.
Oh, no, no, no! You said we had until midnight. I'm not ready to leave. Look at all this. Wait a minute. A cute outfit, a bicycle. You're not a Greyhand. Oh, what a relief. I'm sorry. I just assumed because who else would be... What are you doing here? You're really cutting it close. I guess I'm doing research here on the lawn. I'm studying my own life. Welcome to Tiang Valley. You should have been here a week ago when the evacuation started. Almost everyone is gone now. My son and I are still here. There's a few old people left too. You might come across them. Hopefully everyone will leave the valley tonight. We're going to live in the city, in a little apartment. Look! See how they put the dimensions on the back? I recreated our future apartment here, on the lawn. This is the space we have to work with. I'm trying to really imagine what it'll be like. We're going from a big farm It's one room. And we need to be packed by tonight. I already packed for myself and my son, but my husband Yuri is a little harder to pack for because he passed away recently. And I can't bring all his things. It's not realistic. His stuff is still... it's all here. It's okay. You said you're here to study the valley? My Yuri was doing the same thing. We can do this. Just need to decide. Yuri learned to paint from our neighbor, Matiora. He painted all 3 of these. This is a self-portrait he did. Kind of intense, right? He was more handsome than that. I wish he could have seen himself the way I saw him, you know? He was really lovely. Just occasional dark moods from his work. This is his portrait of me. We got into a fight over it. What's that supposed to mean? You just splatter some paint on the canvas and put my name on it? He said it was my essence. I don't know. Do you think it looks like me? Maybe I was hard on him. He painted this for Kochi. Some kind of private joke between the two of them. I don't get it. They were both interested in the war and how it ended. I'm not. I just pray nothing like that will ever happen again. Which painting should I take with me? Yes, you're right. Himself from his own eyes, something I could never see without this painting. I've packed my essential clothes. I don't know what to do with these. This was Yuri's best suit. Maybe when Kochi grows up, it'll fit him. That's a long time away, though. My island dress. I made this for our trip to the islands, the trip we never took. It was based on a photo of a seaside Azan dance. The hours I spent on this. These are some of Yuri's clothes from when he was a kid. I thought Kochi could wear them, but he says they're itchy. So what's the use? But to throw them away, he was a little boy. He would put these clothes and go to school. He grew up. Oh, God, this hurts a little. Okay. Yes. Of course we'll bring this. I should bring anything that helps Kochi remember his dad. All right, this is going well. But I feel like I'm forgetting something. Or someone. The demon of shame and mourning. How could I have forgotten? Now, where did I put him? We need to bring the demon of shame and mourning. When someone dies and you're in mourning, you're supposed to keep the demon in sight at all times. He's supposed to remind you of your regrets. It's a religious thing. Our old cart broke. I overloaded it. So I had to use the wheels of his bicycle. Now he's so mad he won't say a word. These are Yuri's books. They're pretty heavy. This is an old religious book, The Prism of Yesterday. He didn't like to talk about his faith. I haven't read it much. Maybe there's a part of him in these pages, a part I never understood, that I could still glimpse. Maybe he would want me to keep this one. But I don't know. It just doesn't mean much to me. Yuri found this old tourist guide to the valley before we moved here. He was so excited. But this guide is really out of date. It's from way before the war. There's something optimistic about the colors they used. Yuri really wanted to take a trip to the archipelago together. We prepared for it a lot, even taught ourselves a bit of the language from this book, but we never made the trip. It was always going to be soon, but it never happened. Seems like the kind of thing no one does anymore. Which should I take with me? That's true. Maybe someday I could teach Kochi to speak it. I suppose I'll be leaving the other two behind. I know they're heavy, but would you want to take one with you? Oh yeah, you're the last Tiang Valley tourist. You deserve it. Let's see how this is going so far. We'll remember Yuri's dream of going to the islands. Kochi will be so proud to wear this suit someday. I'll remember how Yuri saw himself. I think we're almost there. Let's just look a little more. My husband built these tools to study the valley. They were his life's work, and they took his life away, too. So what do I do with them? You can't buy tools like these. He made them. My husband didn't insult God, but maybe he stepped on his toe, and his life went out of him. The truth is, I'm relieved to leave this place. Tiang Valley is not some preserved jar of, I don't know, culture. It's chaos. It's life. It's constantly changing. They might be incredibly valuable to a scientist on the other side of the world. I don't know. I also hate them. I get you're a curious soul, but I forbid you from using them. I don't care, but he did. He gave his life trying to understand this world. I can't keep these tools, and I can't throw them away. There's even more of them, bigger ones, out at his work shed. Okay, I'm gonna turn away now. I want you to take them or throw them away. I don't want to know. I went through all our old photos, trying to see what I might be forgetting. I love that view. Have you been up there? By the entrance to the shrine? The entrance is bigger than the shrine itself, just across the river and up the hill. It's worth visiting. The doors to the shrine open when the sun goes down. The monk is still in there. I hope he'll evacuate. That's Matiora. She lives east of here, out in the woods by the river. She said she'll evacuate, but she's still here. It makes me nervous, but I can't complain. We're still here too. I wasn't interested in having a child at first. There are just so few these days. The thing all three of us had in common as a family was that we were pretty silly. We used to be, when we were all together. The past is such a heavy dream, and I never remember my dreams. But when I wake up, there's a cloud of feelings the dream left behind. Then the day begins. I move around, and that trace disappears. I wonder if our memories of the valley will drift away like that. enough of these old photos. We still have work to do. All right, this is it. Oh. I killed him. The demon of shame and mourning. What was I thinking bringing it along? What an awful tradition. Kochi, do you still want to take a final tour of the valley? Let's get those wheels back where they belong. I know what I'll carry with me. It's something I couldn't leave behind if I tried. It couldn't be crushed, like the demon. It's too many layers deep. I'll carry the part of me that's gone. That there's so much life left that flowers grow along its edges. Something like that. I'm glad you came to Tiang Valley today. Thank you for being there for me. I didn't realize how much I needed a stranger's ear. Now, there's no rush, but as you try to wrap your mind around this place, feel free to come ask me questions. I'll be right here until night comes.
Fabric negotiates with wind and gravity. The end result is flight. When I cobble together my own religion, this will be a god. I hope I get to taste some Saba fruit. If it merits a sticker, must be pretty good. I had an uncle who collected tools that were so old nobody knows what they were used for. The earth gave and gave. It did not let up. Not even at the last minute. We collect the fruit of the land we know is dying. Who could forgive us? This valley is so different than my village, but both places have an enormous tree watching over them. This tree will pass in the flood. What will be the end of the tree in Cairo? We build our lives out of what we leave behind as much as from what we carry with us.
PlayStation